Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with another little Manchester United roundup news video transfer update for you guys as we are heading in fast to Christmas, but also to the January transfer window. So we're going to be keeping you locked and up to date on exactly what's going on at Manchester United over the next 4 weeks or so in regards to Man United possibly signing players in January. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you very much for getting in here for today's show. There's a lot of legends in here. Let's have a look who's in here. Kate Cadet, get in there, my son. John Gallagher, Tad Bakes, Andrew Cos, Madhouse, Aaron, G Wolf. What's going on, mate? Tad Bakes. We got John Boy Cat, Andrew Cos, AW88, Johnny M. Everybody, thank you very much for joining us for the live stream. And if you're on catch up later, get yourself down in the comment section with your thoughts and opinions about anything we've discussed in this video. Also, do us a favor at the start of this show, guys, and smash that like button on it. Give it a raw, filthy thumbs up and share it around on social media if you're that way inclined. We've pinned a tweet to the top of the live chat, and we'll shout out every single one of you legends that retweets the show and helps us spread the word later on in the show. So give us a retweet. It's pinned to the top of the chat. And of course, if you're new to the channel, then hit the subscribe button, my friends, because we're going to be on here daily giving you all the latest updates in regards to United in a no bullshit, no clickbait gash way. So let's get into the news then. First of all, hope you're having a great day, everybody. Nuts in here too. Sonic Asylum, Cadster. Yes, Madhouse, Gungshi as well. Great to see you, my friend. How you doing today? Hope you've had some sleep. So, Manchester United on the back of a good win in the League Cup against Burnley, of course. We've got Charlton in the next round. Get in there, my son. We got Nottingham Forest coming up on the 27th. Jesse Lingard, the Pigeon Man's going down. Let's hope so anyway. Otherwise, it's going to be a pretty gash return back to the Premier League if we can't get the job done against those Malters. But we've got that to look forward to. We did have a good game against Burnley, but, you know, come on, it's Burnley. They're a championship melt side. But now it's time for Manchester United to strengthen. We have got issues at the top of the pitch there. We have got Marcus Rashford, who's in good form. He's no doubt been a good goal scorer for us this season. I think he scored 9 goals for us so far this season. Rashford has been doing really well, but he's not a proper out-and-out striker. We've lost Cristiano Ronaldo. He's turned coat on us and left us. Left us in the lurch, really, because he was a big striker player for us, big forward player for us, huge name, huge goal scorer. Last season scored a heck of a lot of goals for us, 18 in the league. We've got to replace that somewhere, don't we? We do have to replace that. Otherwise, we're going to be absolutely gashtastic for the remainder of the season up top there to be able to rely on people like Tony Martial and Marcus Rashford is not really good enough. You need more firepower than that. Not to mention that these guys can blow hot and cold, but there's also injury concerns, particularly with the likes of Tony Martial. As much as I think Martial's a good player, he's not enough. He's not enough for Manchester United to be able to contend for top 4 and to realistically fire us into the top 4. It's not going to happen. So United have to invest in a forward in the January transfer window. There's a few different options. I mean, if we have a look at some of the striker options right here, shout out to my main man, Rushmano, aka transfers_UTD on Twitter. But just compiled a little list of the most realistic prospects or people that have been linked with Manchester United over the last 6 months. And it's the usual suspects. You've got Gonçalo Ramos, though, who is a breakout star at this World Cup and has had a very good couple of years over in Portugal. Alvaro Morata, wouldn't even want to think about that. Dusan Vlahovic, another great talent, of course. Slabby Kane, very unrealistic, probably won't happen. Victor Osimhen is too expensive. Man United probably won't want to spend the money. Glazer shithouses are Glazer shithouses. They're not going to do it. So, I mean, I think the most realistic prospect for Manchester United to go and get Gonçalo Ramos is potential because he was impressive at the World Cup. He looked really, really good in that one particular game where he came and benched Ronaldo and scored a hat-trick. And, you know, yeah, his stats are very good over there in Portugal. But just talking about Cody Gakpo, I feel like Cody Gakpo is the type of player who is already showing that he would be a good purchase for Manchester United, being only 23, having scored the amount of goals that he scored in his career, and also the growth that has taken place over the last season or so. So he's gone from, you know, okay, his international record for the Netherlands is, of course, been good. If you look at his caps, he's had 14, he scored 6. But it's a recent thing where he's like one of the main guys in the team in the Netherlands side. And he actually, apart from the last game in the World Cup, I thought he performed really well in all of their games. He was a big player for the Netherlands. They're a good footballing side, and he was getting in their team, and he was scoring goals and being very impressive, and just has that trickery and that goal-scoring ability, more importantly, that I think we could do with. So, look, there's a lot of positives when you think about the potential of bringing in Cody Gakpo. He's more of a left winger, though. Let's just be totally honest. So, he's more of a left winger. He can play at centre-forward. He can play striker, but he's more of a left winger. But it just opens up a lot of options for you. So let's say he was playing left wing for Manchester United. Well, that means that you've got Martial and Rashford who can play striker, or we could potentially go and sign somebody else. You know, it just gives you versatile options. We've also got Sancho, and, you know, he can play on the right side. You've got Gakpo who could play on the left. Anthony is another one who could play on the right side. And, you know, anyway, Gakpo can play through the middle. He can play down the left. He can play on the right if you need him to. In fact, if we have a look at his overall appearances throughout his career, where he's played at in terms of position, he's played, of course, the majority of his games at left wing. 163 appearances throughout his career have been on the left wing. He's played 20 over on the other side on the right wing, and he's played 18 up top at centre forward through the middle. So, you know, he's not an out-and-out left winger, but he's basically a left winger. Hey, thank you, Crazy Joe Davola, for getting in here with a super chat, my son. Let's go. Let's get a love heart in there for Crazy Joe. He says, Pig, City Scummer here. Nice to see you, mate. Get out. But Crazy Joe, no, welcome in, mate. Thank you very much for that, bud. Thank you for getting in here, and well done on the Scouse job the other night, mate. Crazy Joe, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're right there, Tad Bakes. Thank you so much, Joe. Tad Bakes says Gakpo's very dynamic. That's it. He's a dynamic player, can play in a lot of different positions. He's versatile, he's young. And I feel like a lot of development's taken place over the last sort of 24 months in regards to Cody Gakpo. Yes, his stats going back a few years ago are still good. But if you look at what he's been doing in the Eredivisie for Ajax this season, 14 appearances, 9 goals, 12 assists. I mean, I think that's very impressive as well. It's not just the fact that he's a goal scorer. He is a goal creator as well. If we look last season going into the statistics, 27 appearances in the Eredivisie, 12 goals, 13 assists, contributing nearly a goal a game overall. But he just seems to be growing and getting better. And Louis van Gaal's obviously made him a focal point in that team throughout the World Cup. They did very well. He scored a lot of goals. He did really well. So he's done himself a lot in terms of the price tag. Manchester United have been linked with this guy for quite a little while now, since Ten Hag's come in, really, because of the Dutch vibes, and because Ruud van Nistelrooy's over at PSV, and because he's been sort of lighting up the Eredivisie, and now he's lit up the World Cup as well. Man United really just should have gone in the summer transfer window and signed this guy. It's as simple as that. We needed somebody then, even when we had Ronaldo in the forward positions to help us out. We could have got him for a lot less money than what we would have to go and pay now. I don't think we're talking about astronomical figures to bring this guy in. There's figures being talked about £40 million, £45 million, but we could have got him for 35 million or 30 million or somewhere around there if we'd have just gone and got him a little while ago. So although PSV may have been reluctant to sell, now they really do have a proper star on their hands who has had an impressive World Cup and has basically just improved his overall profile and transfer valuation no end. This guy is definitely more of a hot property now. So how much, I'm going to ask the live chat, guys, how much do you think Cody Gakpo is worth in this current transfer climate and everything? How much is he worth? Well, it's a bit of a tricky question, isn't it? Because it seems like players are going for ridiculous amounts, like Darwin Punez going for 100 million. Fuck off. Harry Maguire, 80 mil? You what? Anthony, we paid basically 100 million euros for. Anthony. So if Anthony's worth that sort of amount of money, Cody Gakpo, okay, yeah, he's a tiny little bit older, but he's still young. His actually statistics are more impressive than Anthony's last season in the Eredivisie to compare the two. I'm not saying we're going to pay anywhere near that amount of money, but actually value-wise, he probably does represent good value for money, because you might be able to get him for, say, 40 or 50 million pounds. And when there's other players out there who are being bought, you know, like Anthony, for a lot more than that, when it's quite hard to justify it on paper anyway, why he would be nearly double the amount, it does represent decent sort of value for money. Let's have a look at the chat. So 40 million's calm, says David Richard. 40 to 60, says VK Dean. Cake says 60. Tad says 45. Compost Mud thinks only 30. Thugger says 40. Jiwa says 80. Fred PSG, yeah, well, there you go. Exactly, VKD. We'll talk about that a bit later. Another rumours. Thank you, Aaron. He says, smash the like button for the pig. Thank you. Yeah, if you're just getting in the stream, guys, give us a boost up there on the old YouTube algorithm by twatting that like button. Give it a massive thumbs up. It's free. And give us a subscribe and share if you're new. 40 says Thugger. Yeah. There you go, Gungshi. He says, we ended up overpaying for Anthony because we waited too long and didn't get Gakpo. Spot on, I know. It's just our own classic melting in the transfer window. You know, going 80% of the way, 90% of the way even, but not going all the way. You know, that's the problem with Manchester United. The board are frigid. They don't want to go all the way, you know. That's the problem with them. Yes, they will invest in a few good players and spend quite a lot of money. There's no doubt that they spent a lot of money in the summer. But if you're going to spend that amount of money, you might as well complete the set. You might as well go get the last player that you need, who's not even a ridiculous amount of money. Maybe sell one or two more players in order to finance it, but get the job done. They didn't get the job done. Now we're going to have to overpay for Gakpo as well. Not necessarily overpay, because I do think that his valuation is just less than other players for whatever reason. But yes, 14 international appearances for the Netherlands, 6 goals. He had a breakout World Cup. His valuation's gone up. We're talking about the value there. I think it's fair to say he'd probably be worth at least 40, possibly 50 million. Hey, Kylie Madison. How are you doing, Kylie Madison? Get in there. Good to see you in here. Legendess of the channel. Thank you very much for being a member of the channel for 7 months, guys. Let's get a 7 in the live chat. Let's get a 7 in the live chat. Thank you, Kylie Madison. She says, EPL's back for Boxing Day. Yay. That is awesome. I know, Kylie. Man United are not until the 27th, though, which is gash. But yes, Boxing Day, it's back. So the World Cup was all fun and games and everything, but back to the real grind now, back to the real business. Manchester United week to week, and you're a Liverpool fan, obviously, which is a shame. But, you know, back to the weekly grind. Thank you, Kylie Madison, for being a member 7 months. That's awesome. Absolutely appreciate that. Oh, 793, how are you doing as well? Oh, Gungshi, you're a handsome bastard, mate, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much for gifting 5 people memberships in this stream. You what? Let's get some love hearts in there for Gungshi. Thank you so much there, Gungshi. That's very, very kind of you, my friend. He's made 5 new members of the channel. That's brilliant. He's given it out to Kevin Kilban, Tad Bakes, Normal Guy, ZX Flames, and Bepto were all gifted membership by Don Gungshi. Thank you, Gungshi, honestly. You're a mad supporter of the channel. Thanks very much for... Thanks very much indeed for gifting out 5 members there, making 5 people's dreams come true. You're a legend. You're a legend. Gungshi, what a man. What an absolute man. Thank you so much, bud. So, yes, just in regards to Cody Gakpo, I feel like Cody Gakpo is the guy to go and get. There's other options for Manchester United that we could go and get in this January window. But probably the best value for money, and also one of the best prospects and a good player for us right now with Ten Hag at the club would be Cody Gakpo. He excites me. He looked really good at the World Cup, and statistically speaking, he's a goal scorer. Now, he may be a left winger, he may be able to play elsewhere, but either way, we need 2 forward players. We need 2 forward players, in my opinion, because Martial's very injury prone, and you can argue 1 or 2 others are in that side as well. I mean, Sancho's not in the team at the moment. Sancho's not exactly blown us away with his performances this season in general anyway. And just a little note on Sancho, actually, before we get back into Gakpo real quick. But there is a little bit of an update. Of course, Ten Hag's at a presser has been asked about certain things before the Nottingham Forest game today. And he was asked in regards to Jadon Sancho, when will Jadon Sancho be back? And Ten Hag responded, it's unlikely that Jadon will be back for the game against Nottingham Forest on December 27th. So he clarified that Jadon Sancho will now continue his rehabilitation. So he didn't really give us a proper time frame. Hopefully when they're speaking like that, and he said, he won't be back for the 27th, that means it won't be that long after that he is back. But still no Jadon Sancho available for that, which is a shame. But it's not the biggest loss because we've got Anthony, and Sancho wasn't looking ridiculously good before he was out anyway. And then Garnacho's still a young prospect. Rashford over on the left side. Martial. We definitely need to go and buy a striker, though, in January. It's 100% the case. So we've got options. In regards to Ten Hag's stance on Cody Gakpo, he was asked about Cody Gakpo because, let's face it, he did have a great World Cup. He was heavily linked to Manchester United before the World Cup anyway. And he was asked about Cody Gakpo and his World Cup performances. And he just said there were many, many good players in the World Cup. And with a big smile on his face, Ten Hag said, again, Van Nistelrooy says there's a point where you can't say no to bids. You can say that for many players. Right, okay, so just a bit of bounce, just a bit coy there from Ten Hag. But yeah, look, that's it. Van Nistelrooy, he doesn't want to lose his key player over there, Cody Gakpo at PSV. However, he has got that United vibe. He has got that United link. And it's not even about that anyway. It's about what's good for PSV. And like he said, when there's a certain figure that is hit in terms of valuation from Manchester United or an offer, they will be open to selling him. It's not like PSV can generate £100 million from a player selling any player. It's difficult for them to keep the top players because they're just not as big a club as the top clubs around Europe. They're just never going to be able to compete with the reputation and actually players wanting to play for you. So yes, Cody Gakpo might be happy at PSV, but if Man United comes a knock-in, he will want to go to Manchester United. He already is rumoured to be open to join Manchester United significantly anyway already. Hey, we got a super chat from Matt Gwinnett. Thank you, Matty Gwinnett, for the £10 super chat. Oh, no. I'm going to have to come up with something else there, guys, now that shithouse Ronaldo's gone. Anyway, thank you so much there, Matty Gwinnett, for the super sticker of the hippopotamus, doing a thumbs up. Thank you so much there, Matt Gwinnett. Appreciate the super sticker and the support there, lad. Yeah, do as he's done. Do as he's done there, the hippo, I mean, and smash that like on the video. Thanks, Matt Gwinnett. I hope you're doing great today. Hope you're doing great today there, Mr. Matty Gwinnett. So, thank you, bud. So, get some love hearts in there for Matt Gwinnett. So, in regards to Ten Hag and Van Nistelrooy and PSV, I think Ten Hag wants Cody Gakpo. If you look at our options up there, we just lost Ronaldo. He's Dutch. He's got that Dutch vibe. There's Dutch players at the club. He's Dutch manager, Dutch coaching staff. It's Dutch. So, if you get Cody Gakpo in there, he's just going to fit in and feel right at home. He's the most realistic prospect for him to go to is Manchester United. Let's ask the live chat, guys. Where do you see Cody Gakpo moving to next? Might not happen in January, but I think it will. But it might not happen in January. But where do you see Cody Gakpo moving to next? Let's have a vote in the live chat. Just see where you think his most likely prospect of ending up is. Definitely United, says Nathan. United, says Nathan. United, says Badhouse. Yeah, it's very much realistic to be the case. For a start, we've got Agent Van Nistelrooy in there. We've also, got the Dutch manager vibes. Madrid says Special One. Leeds says Kitschko. Newcastle says Compost Smurf. Has to be Man United. Right, okay, just on this, actually, we've got a little piece of information here in regards to potentially where this guy would want to go. So, Mikel Arteta has been linked with Cody Gakpo in the past. But the PSV, Netherlands forward, is understood to want to link up with Ten Hag at Manchester United. This is a report according to Give Me Sport from a couple of hours ago anyway. Take it with a pinch of salt. But it makes sense to me. So Arsenal have an understanding that they're interested in Cody Gakpo as well. Can play out wide, down the middle. Arsenal need to probably get a forward player in as well in January, possibly. And he's apparently already sort of convinced of the idea of joining Manchester United in the January transfer window. He was a star in the World Cup for them, obviously. There is that Dutch link. And Manchester United need this player, probably more than most other teams do right now. And he would be sort of filling the shoes of Cristiano Ronaldo if he came in a way. Not really, because he is a winger, essentially. But with a valuation of £40 million, it's understood United would be interested, and we would be the front runners to sign him. There's a willingness from Gakpo to sign for Manchester United. That's what the reports and the rumours and the murmurs are anyway, is that there's a willingness from Gakpo to sign for Manchester United if we were to come in January, whereas he's not so keen on the shithouse Gunners. But they are claimed to be interested in PSV, described as dangerous by former Arsenal and Man United striker Robin Van Persie on BT Sport. So, it's where's Zayn Miassi when you need him? But I don't think he wants to go to those shithouses Arsenal, even if they're top of the league. I think he wants Man United. He wants the Ten Hag link, and it would make for a good signing for Manchester United for a reasonable amount of money. So hopefully we can get him for 40 mil. Hopefully it is Manchester United that is the club that goes in and convinces PSV to sell him, and hopefully it's us that he chooses to come to. But it's looking good. It's looking good because we definitely need to sign somebody. There's only one reason why us going out and signing a forward in January maybe doesn't happen, and it's because of the shithouse Glazers, guys. Hashtag Glazers out in the live chat. Because let's face it, they're looking to maybe sell the club at some point. Are they really truly interested in investing at this moment in time? But there's a couple of arguments to say that, well, if they want to get in the top four and challenge for the Champions League and then maybe be able to sell the club in the summer or after this season is finished, they would like us to be in the Champions League in order to generate quite a bit more money in terms of a potential sale, because the value would just be that much more that we're in the Champions League. So maybe they would be prepared to spend just a little bit of money in January in order to strengthen and prop up our issues that we've got at the top of the pitch. I think we kind of have to, because of the whole Ronaldo leaving situation. We're not paying him 500 grand a week anymore. That's 2 million a month saved. So you can reinvest that money, or some of that money, of course, into getting a new player in. Yep. Hey, Rushmano, how you doing, you legend? I hope you're doing well today. Thank you for getting in here and for the updates earlier on as well, you top lad. How you doing? So, yes, it's reasonable, guys. He's not going to end up at shithouse Arsenal, is he? It's Manchester United or nowhere, probably, for Gakpo in January. And if he doesn't come and join Man United in January, then it will probably be in the summer. But I think the Glazers will spend in January only because of what's happened with Ronaldo and the obscene backlash that they would probably get if they don't spend anything. And just the fact we actually need a player up there. It's like much needed right now. It's a necessity. Otherwise, we probably will not be able to get top four. We can't rely on Rashford and Martial. So, and because of their potential future sale, it may not happen the next few weeks, months, but their potential future sale, they would want their position to be as strong as possible. And you've got to speculate to accumulate a little bit. Let's say they spent 40 mil or 50 mil in this January transfer window. Well, that could be worth a couple of $100 million in terms of extra added value onto the club, maybe more if you're a club that's in the Champions League, just because there's more potential for future sponsorship deals, potential buyers to have more of an interest in an elite club in the Champions League, of course. Not that United's not an elite club in the Europa League, but still, though, Champions League. And if you've got that to go into as new owners, it just puts you in the best possible position, which means they can generate more money from the sale of it. Plus, Man United, when they sign players, there's the shirt sale, which we give a tiny little bit of money. There's also, stock improvements and things like that, which these shithouse Glazers will look at. So it's not all spending and expenditure and outgoings for them when they do sign a player anyway. Plus Ronaldo's gone. So, yep. Let's ask the live chat, though. Let's ask the live chat. Smash a 1 in the live chat, everybody, if you do think that Man United will go out there and spend money in January. Smash a 1 if you think we will go and spend money in January. Smash a 2 if you think that the Glazer shithouses will continue to be a bunch of tight-fisted melters and they will not go out there in January and spend anything. Let us know. Jonathan thinks they will. Cake and Gungshi and Red Devil does. Matty Gwinnett's not so optimistic and Must Play and Compost Smurf as well. Rushmano thinks they'll spend. John Anderson and Aaron doesn't. Depends, doesn't it? When do they plan to sell? Are they playing the long game? Was that whole talk about seeking outside investment just to try and generate cash from outside sources so they don't have to spend a damn penny? Or are they legitimately looking for a full sale of the club? Gary Neville came out yesterday and insisted upon a full sale of the club from the Glazers. And of course, that's the stance that we take on this channel as well, that I take and that a lot of you guys take as well, because they're awful for this football club and they just shackle us. So yes, we want them gone. We don't want them to have partial investment or sell a piece of the football club to somebody else who's a rich businessman just so they can generate cash and spend somebody else's money. We actually want them out. So it depends. I don't know what their play is here. Do they speculate to accumulate to try and get us top four so they can then sell the club in the summer and make the most profit? Or do they just cut the losses, don't spend in January, ride it out and just sell the club? We'll see. We'll see what their intentions are. But I do think we absolutely need to sign a forward player. Yeah, exactly. Lucky Singh. It says investors out, people. We need a full sale. Couldn't agree more. Exactly, Compost Smurf. Investment keeps us in the gutter for another 17 years. Absolutely. As long as the Glazers have the deeds to this football club, we will not be in a good position. We should have we should have owners who want to invest in the club and who see it as a vehicle for success for the football club, not just a vehicle to make them money. So couldn't agree more. Let's hope that happens. But until then, it's up in the air whether or not Man United will actually spend in January. But if we do, Cody Gakpo's high up on the list. Of course, Gonçalo Ramos had an impressive display for Portugal in a couple of games, or one game in particular, out in the World Cup, and he's a breakthrough player, 21 years of age. He also raised quite a few eyebrows when he replaced Ronaldo and scored that hat-trick. He did very, very well, and he's also statistically another player that's linked with us. So he may not be available for a huge amount of money too, which means There's a couple of players realistic we could go and get, but certainly Cody Gakpo is the most likely of them all. Get in there, Cody Gakpo. So that's it. It's just formality for me. We need to go and get him. PSV would be open to a sell for the right price. Ruud van Nistelrooy said as much. They don't want to sell their star players, but if the price is right, they will sell that player and reinvest in the club. And they can't keep hold of a club player like that at a club like that. So they will sell him. Man United will get him, and hopefully will be better for it. There's some people I saw like Jonathan Gallagher, who's a little bit pessimistic. He thinks like Cody Gakpo is maybe another sort of Memphis Depay, where he's not going to hit the ground running in the Prem. He's a bit overhyped. Well, we can only find out, really. I personally think, based on what we've seen from him and his statistics alone, it's not too much of a gamble for the price. Fair enough if he's 100 mil, but if he's 40 million pounds in this current day and age, it looks like he'd be getting a good player with bags of potential. And he's just got that trickery, that finishing ability, and that eye for an assist as well. He's an intelligent player. So that's what I like about him. I think he would add a lot to our side. Is he going to be one of the best players in the world in the future? Only time will tell. Probably not, because only a handful can be. But can he be a good player for us that gives us depth and quality and goals, more importantly, is what we need at the moment at the top of the pitch? I think he can contribute quite a lot of goals for us this season if we sign him in Jan. Hey, 0 Degrees, thanks for the $2 Aussie dollar super chat from Dan Underbro. He says, not spending will fuel fan rage when we lose. Yeah, definitely. They would get a big backlash if they didn't spend in Jan. Imagine being in the position where we are, where we want to get top 4. They have spent quite a bit in the summer, though, but we want to, of course, get top 4, and Ronaldo's just left us in the lurch and gone. You've lost Ronaldo. He scored you 18 goals in the league last season and 6 in the Champions League. You can take all of those goals out of your team. Now, there's an argument to say that we play better without Ronaldo anyway, but we still lost the big player who contributed a lot of goals. You've got to replace that player in some way. So if they don't do that, we'll see the true fibre of their being, which is, we know it, what it is anyway, it's gash. But let's hope that they just have to spend in January to, like you say, appease the fans, but also just to hopefully get us top 4. And if they want to have a future sale, top 4 is where they want to be when they're looking to float the club and sell it. Compost Smurf comments, Gakpo will score us goals. Can he pull it off at number 9 in the Premier League? Who knows? I don't think so yet. Fair enough. Well, there would be a serious period of adaptation for him if he was to be playing striker. But I'm not so sure if he would be playing striker all the time. I think he'd be coming in mostly to play left wing, actually. But if you look at what Man United have been doing over the recent times, that Rashford's been playing a lot on the left wing. But he does play through the middle as well. And you've seen a couple of times this season when Ten Hag could have played Ronaldo at the top of the pitch, and he didn't, and he gave the opportunity to Rashford, and Rashford did pretty well in the number 9 role. I'm not saying Rashford's a great number 9, so I actually don't think he is. I think it's naturally his best position probably is left wing. But he's a goal scorer as well, and if you get him in a good vein of form, which he seems to be, Rashford can stretch opposition defences playing number 9, he really can. And if you've got finishers on the flanks as well, people like Anthony, people like Gakpo, then, you know, you should be scoring a lot of goals from all of your front 3 players. It shouldn't necessarily be about, oh, this guy's the number 9 out-and-out goal scorer. We want all of the front 3 players to be scoring a lot of goals. So if Ten Hag changes the style a little bit and gets us to be, that kind of team that is direct and does have those wingers overlapping and does have those wingers getting in the box and looking to stretch the opposition with a pacey forward like Rashford, who's got pace for days, then it could work out. It could work out with a lot of goals for the remainder of the season. So it just gives us depth in the left wing position, the right wing position, and a little bit more depth in the striker position, because it means that Rashford doesn't have to play left wing all the time. He can play through the middle, and so can Martial. It's not good enough, though. It's not good enough. Really, we need a proper goal scorer number 9 who can get you 25 league goals a season. Those guys are never going to do that, I don't think, Rashford or Martial. But they're good options for now, and if you get Gakpo in there contributing 12, 14 goals between January and the end of the season, then it should definitely improve our goal scoring rate. Okay, so it's not buffering, says Sonic Asana. Okay, thank you. Let us know if we're coming through loud and clear, guys. Smash a 1 in the chat if we're coming through loud and clear. Somebody says we're having bufferation issues. By the way, folks, we've got 115 legends in the live stream. We've got 53 likes on the stream. Thank you, everyone, for hitting the like button. But we can do better than that, my friends. Bacon Brigade, assemble! And hit the thumbs up button. It's free, and it helps us out on YouTube to compete with clickbait wankers and corporations. So make sure you drop a like on it and get your thoughts and opinions in throughout. We are going to have a little bit of a Q&A at the end, but just want to give you the latest and my thoughts, opinions as well, first of all. Thank you to Jonathan Kemp, though, for getting in here and being a member for 2 months of the channel and getting a highlighted comment in. He says, Merry Christmas, Pig. Love your work, bro. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jonathan Kemp. Merry Christmas to you. Let's get some snowman emojis in there for this guy. Johnny Kemp, thanks for supporting the channel, mate, for 2 months. You legend. Appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Right, okay then, guys. We'll get back into Gakpo in a little bit in the chat. Just a couple of other little bits and pieces I want to cover. So Ten Hag obviously had a presser. He was asked about Sancho, and he was asked about, you know, various different other players. I mean, he was full of praise in regards to Marcus Rashford's performance the other day, and that goal. I mean, that was a cracking goal that Rashford scored, and he's been no doubt one of the best players for us this season. He was really bad last year, but that was last year. It's a new, fresh page. Ten Hag's done wonders, in all fairness, to try and revitalise Rashford, and he has done that. Rashford's looking back to his sort of best form again. It was a brilliant solo goal. He started deep in his own half, taking it forward. Very simple sort of, you know, bit drop of the shoulder, just a bit of trickery, and gets the space and gets a great shot off. Is a great goal. He seemed confident, and a confident Marcus Rashford is a dangerous Marcus Rashford. So if he's going to be playing through the middle and Gakpo on the left, I could see that, you know, providing us with enough firepower we need at least to get us to the summer where we can really go and buy a proper number 9 who can get us some serious goals. But he was full of praise for him anyway. He said he's at a very good level with him, and he's been impressive. And he said, I think he's invested a lot once again with a lot of runs behind the defending line, and he scored a great goal in the dribble, great finish. I think he's in great form, and of course I hope he can keep his focus and this performance. I think he's on a very good level. His performances are improving a lot from game to game. He's a continued threat, but also many other games this season he scored a lot of goals and does a lot of defending work. So I'm really happy with his performances. I hope and expect him to keep going with his performance level. So, you know, that's great stuff. I'm loving what Rashford's doing, actually, and it's a great resurgence from how Gashi was last season. Hey, thank you, Pal Marius. I appreciate you getting in here with a super chat, Pal Marius. Get him, my friend. He says, admitting they have money to spend isn't a smart business decision from their point of view. People are going to offer less money for the club if the Glazers brag about how much money they have. Gakpo still coming. That's a interesting comment. I like your style. Well, fair enough. Yes, I mean, nobody wants to say, oh, we've got absolute pots and pots of money, so we're going to pay a £10 million premium on every single bloody player that we sign. That seems to be the case always anyway, most of the time. If you look at even that Anthony deal, I mean, okay, Anthony might prove to be a fantastic player for us, and I think he is looking really good and has had a good start to his career, but we definitely overpaid for him. There's no getting away from it. So, yes, we don't want to appear as we're happy to pay and overpay for every single player because, well, we just don't want to do that as a football club. Why should we get bent over like that? But then it's not our money, is it? Glazer shithouses spend the money. Yeah. So, Ten Hag's happy with Rashford. Sancho's still to come back into the team, remember. Martial didn't look great in the last game. Nah, he didn't look great in those couple of friendly games either. I'm just never convinced by Tony Martial. He's a good squad player. He's a good rotation player, but I don't think he's ever going to be the man who you can rely on week to week to turn up every single week and be fit and ready and fully committed to go. That's the only problem with Martial. Let's see what you guys think, though. Do you think Martial should be given the job as a number 9 right now? He's the number 9, and he gets the first team spot at number 9. If you think that, smash a 9 in the chat. Or if you think he's more of a backup, more of a rotation player, then just smash a B in the chat. Or a backup. You know? Because I just don't really see him being the main guy ever for Man United. He's actually young enough that he's coming into his prime now. These should be the best years of his career. He's been very impressive in spells, even just recently under Ten Hag. He's been very impressive in spells. But spells doesn't impress me all that much. You've got to be doing it regularly. Okay, there's a few Bs coming in here. Squad players, quite a few Bs. Yeah, Lucky Singh says Harry Maguire will be going out in January. Well, very interesting, very interesting. So if I was Maguire, I would strongly be considering leaving Manchester United because he's clearly a backup now. He's clearly going to be used in rotation. He had a cracking World Cup, to be fair to him. He's been gashed for Man United. It's not the right fit for him. And with Ten Hag's style as well, I just don't see that being the right fit for him going forward either. So Maybe he's all right in these sort of more counter or more defensive teams, but I don't think he's very good if you're on the front foot anyway. But Harry Maguire proved a lot of people wrong in the World Cup with some good performances. He was great for England. He was good for England, and he did the country proud. Unfortunately, does he do Manchester United proud every week? No, he doesn't. So would I be bothered to see him go? No. I think we should sell him if we can, probably while his stock is the highest it may be for a long time after that World Cup. So if there was somebody interested in buying him in January, I would sell him. What do you reckon, guys? Keep or sell Harry Maguire? We kind of need him right now. If we're not gonna go and buy somebody else, then we kind of need him right now as a backup because we've got Varane and Martinez. But beyond that, it's only the likes of Lindo, Tuanzebe, etc., Phil Jones. These guys are not good enough to come in. We actually need Maguire. He's a good backup to have, to be fair, this season, unless we were to go and sign another player like Jurriën Timber or just another centre-back. If we're going to go sign another defender, then see you later on, Harry Maguire. Keep says must play. Keep says MUFC. Sell says Kingslayer. Keep until the summer says Rushmano. Yeah, I think unless you're going to, we're not going to go and sign a defender in January. No way. So I think we have to keep Harry Maguire until the summer because he's a very good rotationary player. But if you were Maguire and you come back from the World Cup and you're at United where you were or were the captain, and now you're not playing because you're down the pecking order because Varane and Martinez have established this great centre-back partnership, and so you're not getting a look in, wouldn't you be thinking about leaving? Unless your name's Phil Jones, wouldn't you be thinking about leaving to play football elsewhere? You probably would be. Now, he might well stay to the summer, but I do see him going in the summer because, well, he's probably not going to feature as much for Manchester United as he's used to. And actually, I think he's got more about him than in terms of character. I think he wants to play, and he likes to play, and he wants to play, even if it's for a lesser team. I could see Maguire going elsewhere and doing pretty well for himself. Whereas Phil Jones doesn't have that mentality. He's happy collecting his money, driving his pink Lambos, and just swanking off. Phil Jones is an absolute fucking travesty of a man when it comes to having ambition to play football. He might be making a lot of money and being happy in that sense. I would be for 100 grand a week to do piss all, to be fair. But, in terms of his career, no. Maguire probably will go elsewhere in order to play regularly. That's what I think. But not for the rest of the season. So I don't think he will go anywhere in January. I suppose he could do if there was a big offer that came in, but who's going to put a big offer for him in there? But anyway, we were on Rashford, and Rashford is expected to be looking at signing a new contract reasonably soon. There's a report from Fabrizio Romano via his YouTube that states that Erik ten Hag wants Marcus Rashford to sign a new long-term deal with Manchester United. Of course he does, because he is a good player. He has had a good season. He's been good for him. He's shown the right mentality. He scored 9 goals this season. He's been very impressive. And he's got a lot of potential still. So we definitely want to sign him up to a new deal. He will get a new big deal. We can't have the alternative, which is he goes on a free to some shithouse club like PSG. So Rashford's going to get a big, fat, juicy payday soon. And it's probably too soon, more than he deserves, because he's already on a couple $100 grand a week. But in this current climate, you can't be letting a young prospect like that go out the door. You've got to get him tied down. So, yeah, I think it's a matter of time before Manchester United and Marcus Rashford come to some sort of an agreement. Ten Hag will be desperate to keep him around. There are reports that PSG are interested in maybe bringing in Rashford on the end of his deal at Manchester United, if that was a possibility. You've seen him do that multiple times over the recent years, signing players at the end of their deals for nothing and paying them astronomical figures for signing on fees and weekly wages. So it would be a tempter for Marcus Rashford, but he's Manc born and bred. I don't see him wanting to go and play in a shithouse farmers league. Perhaps if it was Real Madrid or Barca or, just one of the super elite teams that was coming in. But PSG, bunch of French farmers, guys. So I don't think he'll want to go over there anyway. But let's ask the live chat. Marcus Rashford, does he sign a new deal or does he go? Let's see what you guys think. I think he'll sign a new deal. I think Man United will probably make him a very, very attractive offer, which is not justified really, but just because of how desperate we are right now to keep players like that, he will get a big, juicy, fat offer from us. Defo new deal, says Rushmano. And in all fairness, he deserves it based on his recent upturn in form, at least. He's done it for a few months anyway. Last season he was gash. Defo new deal, says Rushmano. Spot on. So there you go. Rashford wants a new deal. Ten Hag wants Rashford to have a new deal at United. And so it's expected that will probably happen. Ten Hag has also stated that Lisandro Martinez needs to accept Man United return. So he's warned Lisandro Martinez that he needs to accept returning to Man United soon with them in the Premier League action on the December 22nd. So he wants him back in there pretty damn quick. He was also asked if there's pressure on him as United manager to get top 4 this season. He said, yes, there is, but he also thinks that the manager of Chelsea, Newcastle, and those clubs invest a lot in their squad. And so for every manager, there's big pressure to get into the Champions League. You want to get into top 4 to fight for trophies, and that's our aim. So, you know, that's the objective this season. In order to get top 4, I do think we have to invest in January with a goal scorer. Could that be Gakpo? Could it be Gonçalo Ramos? Could it be somebody else? There's also reports that Memphis Depay is still on the list. Atletico Madrid are also considering a January move for him. It's a big no from me, but if he was available for absolutely nothing, I suppose it's an option, but no, doesn't do it for me. If you're going to go and get a Dutch player in, a Dutch forward in who could play left wing and in the forward position, it's Cody Gakpo, isn't it, guys? Cody Gakpo. Right, I'm just going to breeze through the rest of the news and information that we've got, but just on goods, very quickly, but always keep smashing that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new for daily updates in regards to the transfer news surrounding Manchester United. We will be coming in thick and fast with these videos over the January transfer window, but we're just jumping on today because, of Ten Hag's comments in regards to Gakpo and just being a little bit coy about Ruud van Nistelrooy at PSV, etc., as you can see on the screen in the bottom right corner. But Man United have reportedly identified Benfica striker Gonçalo Ramos as their #1 transfer target. This is a report that's come out from Portugal that says that the Red Devils are in the market for a new centre-forward. Because of Ronaldo leaving, of course, he is now understood to be one of the key players that we'd be looking at. Smash a 1 in the chat if you'd like to see Gonçalo Ramos sign for United. I must admit, I didn't see hardly anything of this guy before the World Cup. He had one ropey game in the World Cup, but one absolutely tremendous game where he scored that hat-trick and looked like an absolute finishing beast. And he came in and basically just kept Ronaldo on the bench. He silenced Cristiano and he kept him on the bench. I thought he was absolutely fantastic in that game. So he impressed me. And look, his stats, if you delve into his statistics over in Portugal, what he's been doing in the last 12 months or 24 months, very impressive statistics as well. So I would love to get him in there. But Benfica apparently have prepared to, they're not prepared to sell him for under his 105 million release clause. So, but I'm sure they would have to do that, of course. They would have to sell him for a significant amount less than that if they actually want to sell him. But he does apparently have a £105 million release clause in his contract. So we'll see about that. But he has had a good season for them. So by the way, he managed 9 goals and 3 assists in 11 league outings for Benfica. Pretty impressive. And he also got one assist in 6 in the group stage of the Champions League. But he's made a good, strong impression for them, of course, in the World Cup for Portugal. So he would definitely be another player I'd be interested in bringing in. Apparently United are interested in him. Watch this, Rushbardo. There's a new update coming about Gakpo. Let's have a look at this. Interesting. So, see what this is. Interesting report from Ben Jacobs says that Cody Gakpo to Man United is very possible in January, but PSV want close to £50 million. Manchester United are expected to place a lower offer, and thus the structure of the deal will prove important. Ten Hag smiles when asked about Gakpo's World Cup and if a deal is getting close. Nice one. Thank you, Rushmono. Yep, so there you go. 40 to £50 million, somewhere in that region. You could potentially be able to get Cody Gakpo. It's how these negotiations work. They say they want 50. Man United don't want to go in that high, obviously. We'll go in with a lower offer, I guess, and there'll be a negotiation period of time. Hopefully it doesn't take all the January transfer window, because if you get him in at the start of the Jan window or near the start of the Jan window, well, you've just got an extra month of play out of the guy and you're more likely to do well for the rest of the season. So a lot of fixtures come in, got to get him in, go and do the business. Lovely stuff. Right, let's just go through the rest of the little transfer news I've got here, folks. So Ten Hag expects Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane to be available for selection again soon. Whether or not that's going to be for the Nottingham Forest game, it's probably not the case. And in regards to Maguire at the back there, just a bit of team news. He says in terms of Maguire's availability, he said, I can't answer because Harry is sick. I don't know how that develops. We have to wait, maybe the coming hours, maybe the coming days, and then we'll see if he's available for Forest. So he was clear that both Martinez and Varane should be back shortly after their endeavours in Qatar. He said, I can't answer that question now in regards to when they're back. But he said he's still celebrating now in Buenos Aires, going around in the touring car, going around in Buenos Aires, and I can understand it. It is a very emotional when you achieve this World Cup success in your country. It's magnificent. It's the highest that you can achieve in football. Leacher has also to understand that on the December 27th, the Premier League is back. Mate, you know Lisandro Martinez is just going to be turning back up, looking like an absolute mess. He's just going to be on a 1 week bender. You know, he's going to be looking like Freddie Flintoff after England won the Ashes. And he's gone to meet the fucking Prime Minister, just stumbling out the fucking car. So, crikey, I hope he's coming back and he's okay. Because you know he's just been on a week-long bender, and fair play to him because he's just won the World Cup. But anyway, so we got Varane still to come back, Martinez still to come back. It's doubtful whether they'll be featuring for the game against Forest, but we want them back, obviously. Maguire's a doubt, so it could be Lindelof and Casemiro again. Who knows? Who knows? So a bit of team news for you there. And then just finally, Crystal Palace keen to re-sign Aaron Wan-Bissaka from Manchester United. Apparently, that link isn't going anywhere. I'm not bothered about Wan-Bissaka at the club, I must say. I know he got a good assist the other day, and that was good to see. But I'm not overly bothered about him. I think previously under Ollie he was great, but stylistically for Ten Hag doesn't seem to really fit the bill. He's not great going forward. So Dallow's just had a breakthrough season. He's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And for Portugal in the World Cup, Dallow was great again. Dallow's just an absolute most improved player, isn't he? One of the most improved players at United over the last 12 months. Unbelievable. So Wan-Bissaka, keep or sell, guys. What do you reckon? For me, it's I'm just like meh. Not really bothered about it, to be fair. If he goes and we generate some cash to be able to go and sign a different right back or a different player, I'd be okay with that. Not that he's not a good guy and not that he's not a good player, but he's just not really a necessity to keep. He's kind of surplus to requirements these days with Dallow having such a breakthrough season and looking so good in Ten Hag's teams. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to have two like quite high profile, high paid players there. Sell says Jonathan and Kingsley and Kate Cadet. Sell says Lucky Singh and John Boy and Aaron and G Wolf United. Fair play. So Wan-Bissaka, probably most people think that we could get rid of him and generate cash and then use that money elsewhere. Paris Saint-Germain, interested in another one of United's players, supposedly anyway, which is Fred. but look, I don't see it personally, but maybe they would be interested in Fred. His current contract set to expire at the end of the season before United triggered a 1-year extension earlier this week. Fred was one of 4 players to have their deal extended. His long-term future of the club remains uncertain due to lack of playing time. So I guess it depends on how he is used this season. But actually, I think he is going to be used quite a bit by Ten Hag in a rotationary role. We don't have a lot of depth in midfield. The focus this January is to sign a forward player to score goals for us. We've got good midfielders in the first team of Manchester United, i.e. Eriksen and Casemiro and Bruno, those guys. But beyond that, McTominay and Fred, not good enough. So we're okay as using them as backups at the moment until the end of the season. Maybe they'll have conversations then. We won't be offloading anybody anytime soon in the midfield position because we need to sign somebody first. We've got to go get a Milinkovic-Savic or a Bellingham or a Rice or, just somebody who's going to come in and be a top player, first team starter for us. McTominay's definitely not good enough. Again, if you look at that performance by him in the Burnley game, he was pretty crap. You're never going to change my mind about him. He might have heart. He might be a good leader. He might have a bit of nastiness about him, which is good. You don't want a team full of pansies, but he's just not very good, is he? So, and Fred is not the most technical either. He's kind of hit or miss. So definitely that's a problem area for us, but we'll strengthen in the summer. I would welcome it in all fairness. Not that Fred is a bad player for us. I actually like Fred. I like his personality. I like his mentality. I like how he plays. I like his work rate, all that stuff. It's just his technicalities I don't like. He's a little bit on the guff side sometimes. But actually, he's a useful player, and I would keep him around as a squad player. I'd rather have a player like Fred who's full-on committed than, a melter player who goes missing and doesn't try. He's the definition of a trier, and God loves a trier. God love a trier. Tim Clerdon says, let's do a straight swap, Fred for Mbappe. Now you're talking. Okay, so yes, that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much it. Let's take it back onto Gakpo for a second, if you're just joining the stream. So Gakpo to United is a potential possibility in January because he's understood to be the most keen to join Manchester United out of any potential teams that would be interested. There were links with Arteta's Arsenal. Apparently he laughed that off. So I do think he wants to join Manchester United. Ten Hag's here. There's a Dutch link and a Dutch connection. It's not like Ten Hag's managed Gakpo because obviously he's a PSV player, but he's come up against him many times over the last couple of years. And if he would want to go and get him, I think that speaks volumes. Somebody like Tyrone Malacia was brought in under those pretenses as well, that he was impressed by him against the team that he was managing. That bodes well for me. Gakpo statistics, fantastic in Eredivisie. Make it happen. Cody Gakpo to United. Come on. Let's go. And stats-wise, fantastic statistics. If you look at his overall career, 82 goals in 222 appearances, 61 assists. But the heat has really ramped up in the last couple of seasons. Just in his developmental years, he's not scoring as many. But in the last couple of seasons, both for club and country now, certainly in the World Cup, but certainly for PSV in the Eredivisie, he's been on a goal-scoring tear the last 2 years. So definitely a great signing for us right now. Young, 23, versatile, play left wing, play right wing, play striker. Get in them. Get him in. Right, let's get into the live chat for a few minutes, everybody, before we wrap this stream up. Thank you, everyone who's in here today for the show. We are back with these United news videos now on the regular. There probably won't be one on Christmas Day, but other than that, we'll give you at least one daily update every day, probably two if there's breaking news and new updates and that kind of thing. And of course, if there's any actual proper breaking news, any advancements, any movements, we'll jump right on. Right, let's get into the chat. Everyone, thanks for dropping a like. We're on 74 likes. Twat the thumbs up button if you haven't done so. Hit the subscribe if you're new and have your say in the chat. You only need to be subscribed for 0 seconds to chat. So, please do. Tony's charges have increased, have they, Madhouse? Oh my goodness. Well, that's another player that was linked to United very recently before all of that betting scandal business. He's off the table. Fred's our only ball winner, says Rushmano. Well, okay, fair enough. What about Mr. Casemiro? But Fred is I know what you mean though. He's a mobile ball and he's a super he's quick, he's agile, he's all over the place and he gets you the ball. So I understand what you mean, and he's good further up the pitch in terms of a ball winner. So for pressing and that kind of stuff, Fred is good. I honestly think Fred's got a role to play in this squad, but his role is just a rotationary player to come in when we're playing gash teams, or to come on for the last 20 minutes when we're already up in games, just to run the opposition into the ground with his work rate. So, yeah, I do think he's got a job in this squad, to be fair. Alex Core says, so what is going to happen with Sancho and Antony if Gakpo signs? Right, okay, well, Sancho and Antony are going to have to fight it out for their positions in the team, aren't they? Now, I personally think Sancho's not looked that impressive for us over on the left wing. Right wing's probably his best position, but that's also Antony's best position. So those two are going to have to fight it out. However, Sancho can quite easily play on the left side for us. That can quite easily happen. He's done it a lot and had good games there. So he can play on the left wing. It means you can play Rashford up top. You can play Gakpo up top. Play Gakpo left wing. Play Rashford up top. It just gives you options. I know what you're saying. There's no clear-cut, perfect path to victory with those players. It's not like you've got your Kane and your Son and you know where those guys are going to play. It's more complicated than that. So I know what you're saying, but I think there's no bad thing about having loads of options and having players who can play in loads of different positions. But I think Antony would have to play on the right because he's got no right foot and you want him cutting in and shooting. But Sancho can play on the left. Gakpo can play on the left or striker. Rashford could play on the left or striker. Martial could play basically anywhere across the front three, I suppose, but mostly could be playing striker. Sancho defo being pushed out the door at United. Interesting, Kate Cadet. I don't know about that, but I don't know if I feel the same way as you do about that. To be fair, they invested quite a lot in him. Unless there's going to be a big offer on the table from someone which makes them consider it, they're not going to push him out yet. He's still got plenty of time to sort himself out, but this season he's going to have to do it between now and the end of the season. Bad Boy says, I'm not sure if Antony's heart's in it. Really? Because Antony was like the first player to score in every single game, the first 3 games of his United career ever, wasn't he? So he did have a good start to United's career. I think his heart's in it. I think he's a hungry player. And Ten Hag brought him in because he knows his character and he knows that he's hungry. So, I don't know. Paul Tierney says, United are in promising Frankfurt right back Cilia. Brilliant French player, reminds me of Rafael da Silva. Fair play to you, Paul Tierney, lad. Respect your comment there, lad. Okay, let's read one or two more out then, my friends. You're concerned that Lisandro Martinez won't pass a drugs test upon his return to Manchester. Crikey, that's a very interesting point. Let's hope he's not been on a proper bender. Anyway, DVB, Wan-Bissaka and Martial hardly ever play, so first out the door for me. Oh, yeah, that's a good point as well. Donny van der Beek. Didn't even think of it. He doesn't even register on my radar as us having a midfielder called Donny van der Beek, really. Because whenever he plays, he's kind of bang average, and he's not really going to play that much, is he? Sancho winter wildcard out today, says Liam. Gakpo will have play up front as striker, says Alex Core. There you go. I think he will too. I think he will too. He did it for Netherlands. He can do it. He's versatile. We've gone through his statistics. We know that he plays the majority of his games throughout his career on the left wing. But he has played 18 games throughout his career at centre forward. And who's to say he couldn't play there? He's a finisher. Kevin Kilban says, Gungshi is my hero. He bloody is, isn't he? Gungshi is still here. Thank you once again for gifting out 5 memberships to the channel earlier on. You're an absolute gentleman, man. Thank you so much. G-Wolf, I'm not going to do a poll now, G-Wolf, because I'm going to wrap up the video, mate. But thank you for suggesting that, though. Oh, okay, no, fair enough. He says, ask everyone who you think has improved this season the most, right? Oh, no, United. Oh, never mind. That's we have improved this season, G-Wolf, I guess. But no, just forget it. Jonathan says, told you about Donny being average pick. You did. And maybe he still deserves a bit more of a chance in the team, but he's got to take one of these chances when he gets them. He's not taking them, has he? Right, we're going to wrap this video up, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for getting in here for the stream today. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Thanks for the chat. There's the latest little update on Cody Gakpo. Ten Hag being coy. There's an understanding that a valuation of 40 to 50 million pounds could be the figure that pries Gakpo away from PSV Eindhoven. So we'll hope that we can get him in January. I think if we're going to sign anybody in January, it's probably him. So I could see it happening. Ronaldo's gone. We need to get him. It's a formality. And also, yes, Rushmono, let's get some glazes out in the live chat. Plug my gaming channel. Okay, check out my gaming channel, Flying Pig Gaming. I always do at the end, Kate Cadet. Please, next time, just shut up. I'm just kidding. But I don't know what I'm doing, mate. You don't need to remind me what I'm doing, my friend. I know what I'm doing here. Right, guys, so do us a favour and smash that like button on the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Click the bell icon for notifications for streams when we'll start them. You'll get a notification. Also, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch at Flying Pig United. You can check out my gaming channel, Flying Pig Gaming. But actually, I'm on my main channel back again in 15 minutes' time with a FIFA stream. A little afternoon bonus FIFA stream, guys, coming in hot in 15 minutes' time on my main channel. So just doing that because there's a new Winter Wildcards promo out and we've got some Foot Champs games to finish for qualifying. So if you're around in 15 minutes' time, stick around. We're going to be back on this channel with a new stream. Probably, I don't know why I didn't do it on the other channel, actually. Oh, well, I've already set up now, so FIFA stream here, guys. FIFA stream here. Thank you, Rushman. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you, everyone who's got in the stream today. All the mods like Johnny Gallagher, Rushmano, Gungshi, etc., G-Wolf, Aaron, and all the members, Kingslayer, Kate Cadet, Kevin Kilban, Crazy Joe Devola, John Boy Cat, Kingslayer, you know, everyone who supports the show, and everybody else who chats and gets in here and supports the show by smashing the likes and sharing it and all that. Oh, shit, let me go over to Twitter, actually, and shout out every one of you legends that gave us a retweet. I really do appreciate everyone that helps the show by sharing it around and retweeting it. We've had 7 retweets. I want to shout out all 7 retweeters. We have got Gungshi, G-Wolf United as well. Get in there, G-Wolf. Is that you, G-Wolf? I thought you had an account and I was already following it. Is that you? Was that somebody else? Aaron Homeyard. Eddie's Football Waffle, Transfers _ MUFC, John, and also Shazad Ahmed, you legend. Get in. Thank you guys, everyone, for retweeting the show. Right, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Come back after it's finished. Get your thoughts and opinions in about what you think about Cody Gakpo, or perhaps you think Man United should go away in January and sign somebody else. Come back and have your say, and thanks for watching, guys. That's the end of the show. Have a good one. Back in 15 minutes with some afternoon FIFA. Have yourself a good one. Thanks for tuning in. Check out the website, unitedflyandhigh.com, as well for United news. Check out the merch store, flyandpigclothing.com, as well if you want to support the show by getting yourself a t-shirt. But that's the end of the show. Cheers, G-Wolf, Cake, Gungshi, Kingslayer, Jonathan, Sonic Asylum, Tim Clurden, Rushmano. That's it from me. Have a good one. And remember, when the seagulls follows the trawler. As this is because they think Saladins will be swam into the sea. Thank you very much.